We are here with Loretta Buckley. She and I just had a Bowen Therapy session. I feel like $1,000,000. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I didn't know what to expect. Tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about Bowen and how you got into that.
Okay. Well, I guess I need to start way back at the beginning then. I got into the world of energy healing because I've been in more than multiple car accidents throughout my life, and it's caused me a lot of back issues from top to bottom on the spine. Been through a lot of therapies and doctor's appointments and medications, and none of them really did the trick. Came across Reiki and happened to meet some ladies that taught it at a arthritis pool class, and they were teachers. They taught me how to do Reiki, and then that went into becoming a career after I was doing it for myself for a while, because I found out how amazing it was for me. The moment they put their hands on me, within 20 minutes, they were done. Nothing else had worked at this point. All the procedures I'd been through, hospital visits, doctors, you name it, nothing got rid of pain. It just would take it down. I live with a level 9 pain pretty much every day if you're on a pain scale 1 to 10. And so I just had really lost the zest for life at that point. And they laid their hands on me. They started doing Reiki on me for about 20 minutes. And when they were done, they said, "How do you feel?" And I had also become depressed at this time, and the depression was just gone. And that just blew me away. Like, how do you get rid of depression in an instant? How does that just get taken out of you? And they said, "Well, how's your back pain?" And I just realized, I started assessing my body, and I'm thinking, I have no pain anywhere. How is that possible? So I started bothering them every day at the pool. Tell me more about this. How do I learn about this? Where do I go to get this done? And like I said, they were teachers, so they taught me how to do it and made me a teacher. And then from there, a few years later, as I said, I was now practicing this professionally at a physician's clinic. A few years later, I come across energy medicine, and energy medicine got me because my back pain was starting to, I'd have a few little things creep back in every now and then. And I thought, this thing came across online. I thought, this is kind of strange. I wonder what this is about. Like, I'm wondering, and they did like this 2-week challenge. And I thought, okay, why not? Let's try it. And I'm thinking it's, bunch of BS, but I thought, let's give it a try anyway. And in 12 days into the 14, I realized that morning when I woke up, all my pain was completely gone. And I said, that's it, I'm all in.
That's beautiful.
And from there, I continued practicing both Reiki and energy medicine. Came into learning a lot of different modalities just because of that, learning different ways. Energy medicine really introduces you to a lot of culture healing, and you learn a lot of new ways of healing. And then you really get in touch with your spiritual healing, and a lot of intuitive healing comes to you. So a lot of that started happening for me. Then I developed the crystal facials from there, and became the home of the crystal facials and created that. Been doing those for about 4 years.
That's what got me interested. I saw you at the Awakening Expo in Piketon, which is coming up in September, the end of September,
yes.
First weekend of October. And I'm like, this lady over here I was with my partner, John helps me. And I'm like, she's doing, crystal facials. That's awesome. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
So then I reached out because I knew you did Reiki, and then you told me about Bowen, and I'm like, well, what is that? And during our session, I was like, I open mind, I had no idea what to expect. I tried not to ask you a lot of questions before because I like being surprised.
Yeah.
And I'm very surprised.
Yeah.
It was not invasive at all. I'm not a big fan of the massage therapy when it's really tough, like digging in. I do love massages, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I do too.
But it was so different. It was just completely different than any other modality that I've experienced. And you got the touch. Loretta.
Sorry for the long-winded story to get to the Bowen.
Yeah, I love it.
But to get to Bowen and how I ended up doing it, there's a progression of how all this came about and how I moved into all these different modalities. And then this year, early this year, I had, oddly, just Bowen kept coming in front of me. And that's usually how intuition is talking to me, how spirit is talking to me and telling me, pay attention. I'm trying to show you something you need to be doing. And so I paid attention. The third time it popped in front of me, I said, okay, there's something to this. Okay. So I'll read about it, learn about it, and see if I want to, use this. And then once I did, I went to the doctor at our clinic and said, here's something I'd like to bring into this clinic. I think it's really going to benefit a lot of patients. What do you think? So then I did a session on him and he said, I'm in, let's do it.
Let's go.
And from there, so Bowen, what is Bowen? Bowen, I am working with the fascia in the body. I'm working with like the connective tissue, the tendons, the ligaments, the muscle belly. And I am shifting that in a way, making what are called moves. With each move, it stimulates healing in this fascia, like a little web throughout that area. And so it starts that stimulation for the healing in that area. And then every so many moves, there's a 2-minute break. We pause. And during that quiet 2-minute break, it's further sending vibrations up to the brain to calm our fight, flight, freeze. And it becomes more and more relaxing with each time we have that break. So, and breaks occur, as you saw, multiple times in the session. And it's just quiet time. The body is just quiet and it's just going through these stages. And as it does so, by the end, you feel very calm, very relaxed, but not necessarily say sleepy, but just that tension, that anxiety, stress, it's just kind of melted away.
It really did melt away. I will say that because I have a level of discernment with a lot of different modalities of, healing, energy work, that kind of thing. But I really feel like the 2-minute breaks kind of gave my body that time to catch up, I guess, or, so I felt at the beginning, because I get stressed when I drive, and I drove from Columbus to Chillicothe here at Loretta's studio, and I was, it's so tense, and now I just feel like it all kind of just fell away, and no, I'm not tired. I've yawned like 5 times, but like you said, that's normal. That's natural.
Yeah. Yawning, in any kind of energy healing, yawning, hiccups, coughing, sneezing, any way that we're releasing a gas from the body is a way that the body is releasing something that's no longer serving it. It's getting rid of that toxic energy.
So what's your favorite modality of healing?
Every time I do a new one, that becomes my new favorite, because it's just new and you take to it and you just, you just jump on it and you can't wait. I'm going to be, I'm now doing aromatherapy as well. And I've now added in our essential oils, and I've been really enjoying that modality as well.
It is fun. It is.
The creating, I do custom orders with it. I advertise for it, and just all these custom orders just come in. It's really, I enjoy creating something for that individual. And a lot of times I'll even energy test whether this oil is the right one for what they're saying. I need this.
So before you started energy healing and these modalities of alternative healthcare, what did you do before all this? What was your life like before you decided to go this route?
I did modeling for 14 years.
Beautiful.
Yeah, completely different than this world. That was a much more physical. Modeling is about the physical.
It is.
And this moves into the spiritual and the mental and the emotional. And then now the Bowen being much more the physical. So I'm now bringing in a more physical modality.
Yeah.
So it's been a joy, the progression of each modality that I've worked with, and I love them all. Reiki is probably always going to be my favorite, just because it changed my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, it brought me closer to my higher power. It gave me a purpose in the world. All of them have shown me this is what I'm here to do. It's what I'm meant to do.
Yeah, to be a healer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. I have a passion for it. You can probably ask any of my patients that I make coming to my sessions a joy. And I always think getting healthy should be a joy, helping our body to feel good and reach that level of feeling good, because we felt bad for a while. You know, I was miserable for several years, and more than several, I mean, probably 20 years. Most of my modeling career, everything I did, I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But you just get through, you know.
You do.
You have to.
Yeah, and then finding that like connection between your spirit and your mind and body, and like really bringing that together completely changes your life, you know.
Yeah.
And I know that I struggle with that and trying to, you know, keep everything in tune. But sometimes we need some help from somebody else, you know what I mean, to get that energy flowing, because that's all we are. We're energy, you know. Sometimes we get a little stagnant. Sometimes we get blocked. And having the healers say, hey, come on down, you know.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I really look forward to our next session. Next session, we're going to do, what are we going to do next session?
Brazilian toe technique.
Okay, that sounds exciting. Tell me about that.
So that is one of the energy medicine sessions. And it is a way that we do some preliminary with some tapping, and then some other work where we're moving some energy and bringing it off the body, and then holding the toes for a period of time, and holding each toe, and then holding some acupressure points at the end.
Oh, awesome.
And this helps with everything from like sciatic to edema to hip problems, knee problems, feet, ankle. I've even had people tell me when I'm holding the toes that they feel it all the way up into the shoulders and neck.
Wow.
They said the energy just travels that far up for them. They're like, am I supposed to feel this? Like, it feels so good, you know, it's tingling all the way up here, and it feels really good, but is it supposed to be there?
This is normal.
It's supposed to be there.
That's beautiful. And sometimes I'll get these like, you know, I've had Reiki a couple of times just at like the shows, and I feel like I really wasn't like in my mindset to be relaxed and do that. But at any rate, there's so many different modalities, and people kind of put their own spin because their energy is different. You know, we're all very unique, and I kind of felt that with our session. Like I felt like we were doing the Bowen Therapy, but I could really feel that positive energy from you, and it's electrifying, and it's contagious as well. So I feel like a different person. I'm excited. Like I've been like tense and just like so much stuff going on.
Thank you.
But yeah,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been really
I do get told a lot of times that people feel more than just like, say, Bowen. I've had tribal elders tell me before they even knew what I did, they said, you're a great healer. And I said, you don't even know me. Like, how do you know this? Like, oh, I just know. My spirit told me. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, it's very, you know, it's rewarding to just hear these beautiful statements. And, you know, it's not me doing that work. I mean, this all comes from, you know, the universe, and it's not me. I'm just the facilitator. I'm just a tool in the process.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I never take the credit. It's not my credit to take. But I appreciate being a part of it. I appreciate being chosen in this world to do this.
Yeah.
And I am so, so grateful that this is my career, that this is my livelihood. I love doing this for people. I love seeing someone come in, knowing that I've had so many people tell me, "You're the last thing I'm
You're
gonna
my
try."
last hope.
Like,
Yeah.
I've done this, I've done that, I've seen this specialist, I've been to that, and here I am. You know, what can you do?
It's disheartening to go to like a traditional medical provider and kind of be ignored, your symptoms be ignored. Before our session, you sat down with me and we had a chat about like, hey, what's bothering you? Where do you have pain? And I felt for the first time that I've ever had a practitioner sit down and be like, okay, let me know. I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
But we got to know the source of the issue, you know, in order to go from there. And hopefully we're seeing a new leaf being turned and more compassion for patients, and it's just beautiful to see that from you and others.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much because, like I said, in all the years I was dealing with my own pain, I had been to so many doctors and hospitals, and I felt that cold, uncaring, uninterested, you're just a number, you're just a paycheck kind of feeling. And I'm not saying they all treat you that way, but for the majority, that was what I got. And I get so many patients that tell me, no one listens to me. I'm never heard. And so when I went into this, that was one of my main focuses is when you're there with me, I want you to feel like everything I do is about focusing on you. How can I make your session better? How can I help you walk out this door smiling? I want you to feel different than when you walked in, because how often do we go to a doctor office and leave feeling better? We don't.
Right.
You really don't. You leave there.
You're going to pick up a script.
There you go.
You know?
And then how soon do you feel better from that?
You might not at all, you know.
You know? And I have nothing against modern medicine.
Of course,
I think it's fantastic. I think it has we all have a great purpose, and we all need to come together and work together equally.
Yes.
And I think it would be a much better world. I wish, you know, Reiki or some type of energy healing was taught in school when we're young.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much healthier we would be if we started doing self-care and we were taught how to do self-care from a young age?
Yeah.
To where it's just natural. You get up in the morning and you do a little bit of this and that on yourself, and you go about your day and you just feel great.
Yeah.
How much more positive would we be?
Right. Exactly. And do you teach Reiki classes?
Yes.
Now? Okay.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
I actually have a Reiki class coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Okay. Awesome. Can people still sign up for that, or is it?
Yes. I extended the sign up. So yes, they can sign up for a few more days.
And how long does that last?
It's a 2-day course.
Okay.
And I make sure that it's a Reiki 1 course, this one is, and I make sure that when you're in there, you feel like by the time you leave, you're very confident in what you're doing. If you didn't, I didn't teach you right.
Right.
And my job is to make sure you walk out of there feeling like, I can do this at home for myself. Yeah, I got this. Because there's no reason you shouldn't feel confident. I have so many people come in and say, I tried to learn it from somebody else, or I tried to learn it online, and I just didn't get it. And I think it's in bringing the whole package together, and then the practice. We practice a lot. Saturday is, the first day, Saturday is a lot of like, let me teach you all the pieces of how this puzzle is going to come together. And then Sunday is when we practice all of it. Everything I taught you, we go through and we practice. So by the time you're done, you feel, I really get this. I want to do this for myself every day.
And how can our viewers and listeners contact you for a session or a Reiki class?
You can just call me, text me.
And I'll put that down in the description and on.
And I've got email as well.
Awesome.
So I'm working on getting a website. I'm probably a little behind on the times. As she discovered today, I'm not very tech savvy. So I'm working on it, folks. I'm working on it.
I feel like you are blessed to not even deal with it.
I am so old school. If the internet crashed, I would be like, okay, I got this.
Yeah,
I can handle the world.
Fine. Yeah.
I can go back to corded phones. And I know so many people are going to be like,
a corded phone. Yeah.
I could go back to all of that, writing checks to pay bills, all
You
of it.
can
Like, it
date
would just
Loretta. She'll fight back. And she's got a fax machine from 19.
I have a fax machine. Told you I'm old
I'm
school.
over here being a smart aleck. Well, no. Loretta's also on Facebook. That's how I got hold of her.
Facebook as well. Sorry. Yes, that is true. I'm on Facebook. So you can, and it's just Loretta Buckley on Facebook. I have a couple of other sites, profiles on there, but I don't really mind those too much. I really stay with the Loretta Buckley. Yeah. And I try to put out a lot of like affirmations and positive ways to go about living with gratitude and law of attraction. So I try to give little tips. For a while I was doing, if you go back into my profile or my videos, you can see a lot of like energy medicine, little snippets that I did, like a 1 minute. I try to keep it 1 to 2 minutes, really short, but it's little energy medicine exercises that you can do to help you. Say maybe you have some heartburn, or maybe your neck is giving you some trouble. Maybe you're having trouble focusing that day. So there are little exercises that you do, these different little things, and you go, oh my gosh,
it works.
Like, that's not bothering me at the moment. Okay, how's this work? Yeah. So, but I try to give little ways. I tried to record them in some different locations with some little fun background and as creative as I could. Yeah. Dogs, creeks, all sorts of like interactive fun.
And you do energy healing for animals too, speaking of dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
What led you to do that? Just whenever you started Reiki? Was it like, oh, I can do this on animals too? Or
just it was part of the course. They teach you, and then they said, well, do you want to get certified in this as well? And I said, yeah. I mean, I have a lot of dogs, so let's do that. I'd like to help animals too, and our dogs have some issues here and there. Our dogs actually often we're out in the forest and they get bit by copperheads at times. Mm-hmm. So it's great to be able to do Reiki on them and help them through that and help them feel better and be calmer. We have a laser that emits frequencies at my other location in New Boston. I have 2 locations, New Boston and Chillicothe. And at my New Boston location, we have a laser that actually has the frequency to help with things like snake bite venom, Lyme's disease. So things like that we can really work with animals in a great way, in addition to Reiki.
Yeah. So tell me about the laser and the frequency with that.
That one's not really my modality. That's the doctor's there.
Okay.
But I really try to tell people about it because it's really helped me significantly. I have no seasonal allergies. I have no stomach issues, no sinus issues. Haven't had these for 12 years now.
Wow.
It's really, once you go through and do the laser and complete it,
it's gone.
Yeah. It's cleared from the system.
Yeah. Yeah, and we pick up lots of blocks and energies from different people and being out. And sometimes you just got to get rid of that because it's going to store in the body and start manifesting itself in real weird ways, But yeah, today was great. I look forward to our session next week. And I really appreciate you sitting down and having a little chat with me about it.
Yeah.
It was very fun. It was very informative. I'm just blown away.
I wish there's so many points I want to touch on and share so much more. It's incredible. It's so vast. And, I can't even begin to tell you, I work with so many rare conditions that, I've worked with Agent Orange poisoning.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And had great success.
Beautiful. Wow.
It's spectacular what how this works with the body and how everything from something that big of a problem for someone.
And that has to be rewarding to feel like, hey, I helped, get this person's quality of life back.
Yes. I'm so glad to have been there and held that space for them and been able to say, give me a little time.
Yeah.
I know you've already given everybody a little time, but give me a little time. I really think there's something that we can do with you here.
Yeah.
And he did exactly that. And I'm so grateful to have been a part of it.
What a beautiful story. I love that. That is just beautiful. Regarding Reiki, is there a technique that we can do at home, maybe on ourselves or on a spouse?
Reiki is more something we have to teach you and then attune you to it.
Okay.
So that's not so much something you can do until you are attuned to it.
Okay.
Once you are, then absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
There's plenty of ways to work with the body.
Yeah.
And we teach you all of it.
So what kind of energy work can we do? I guess Reiki was the wrong word to use.
That's
there.
okay. There's a lot that I do. So
yeah.
The energy medicine, I teach a lot of different, I try to give little techniques for people to go home with. Mm-hmm. I try not to overwhelm them too much and give them too many things to do at home, but a little bit each time, each session. Here, I'm still dealing with anxiety. Why don't you try this? In fact, how about I show you all one for anxiety?
Let's.
It's called the Spleen hug. You take the right arm and you fold it under the chest there, and you're basically touching the spleen. We're just holding it, that's it. And then you take the left hand and put it above the elbow on the other one. Keep the feet uncrossed, flat on the floor, and just breathe. And this can be done, you can be standing in line at the bank, you can be standing in line at Walmart, you can be at work, you can be pretty much anywhere in a conversation with someone that's really upsetting you and causing you anxiety, and they have no idea because this looks like a normal thing we do.
It does. It really does. That's awesome.
The longer you hold it, because we're holding points, and as we're holding these points, it's changing the energy and moving energy from a pathway that's got too much energy into a pathway that's needing it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that.
So that's a great one to help with anxiety and stress, and just kind of helps to calm all that down.
So tell me more about the aromatherapy, because that is what has been most beneficial for me regarding my anxiety, my stress, because I'm wound tighter than a drum, as you found when you were... So I'm a big proponent of, lavender, chamomile, the whole nine.
I kind of started just following a few different recipes to start with, and then from there just started coming up with my own, knowing what those oils do. And once I started coming up with my own, I wrote my own little recipes and my own ways of doing it. And now most of my oils have crystals in them that also support what they're meant to do. They're EMF charged. And far as I know, I'm the only one that knows how to do EMF charge on oils. Mm-hmm. I Reiki charge them as well. And then at our clinic in New Boston with the laser, we, for whatever it might be, say for migraines, we will actually put in the frequencies that will assist with migraines. And it's almost like a homeopathic that is put into the oil.
And now tell me about the EMF and how you got to that certification, or...
I didn't get into certification. I just have my little trade secret that I go about it, that that I add to that, and
so
just make sure they're EMF protection.
Okay.
So when the oils are, put the oils on you, that adds another little bit of protection.
Layer of protection.
Say we're putting it on the, under the ears or behind the neck or whatever, and we're always holding the phones up there. We're being exposed to EMF.
Yeah, all the time, everywhere.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realize how bad it was until I was like, man, I have my iPad, I got my laptop, I got my phone, I got,
Yeah. We're around it
Bluetooth
constantly.
devices.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you just need to unplug. I unplugged from Facebook for a week last week. It was the most peaceful week of my life. And I just found myself not using my phone, chucking my phone on the couch and forgetting about it for hours. And I felt better. At the end of the day, I didn't feel jumbled, confused, and, So I think everybody should, maybe just take a break from it for a hot second sometimes,
There's definitely something to it. it's all around us anymore. And every time they, like everything's 5G now, we keep getting deeper into this. Yeah. And that's just the direction of the world.
Yeah.
And with that being the case, we have to have some layers of protection to help us, combat these different toxins coming at us.
Yeah.
It's toxic to the body.
Yeah.
And then with us doing the laser and adding that laser in there, and charging it, like I was telling you, my vial of migraine, I have them put the geopathic stress in there. So when I am around something like, say, Serpent Mount, the vortex there, the ley lines, I don't know what it is, the crater itself, but whatever, I typically get a very intense migraine being there. And now they've put that into that oil and
change the game.
Yeah, completely. Now I go there and I put it on and I go, all right, I can get through my day. So, which brings me to, I actually do a lot of outdoor events, indoor events too, but usually from spring through fall. In fact, into as late as into the Halloween festival this year. I do a lot of events on the weekends to share my work because I want more people to be exposed. As in this area, very few people in the beginning knew what Reiki was. It just wasn't talked about a lot. There was a few people who did it in their homes, but it wasn't publicly being put out there and advertised. And I said, I'm going for it. I'm just going to put this out there and let's see what happens. And I started going and educating at community events and sharing my work and letting people see what it's like, and everyone was wowed by it.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing the same with, taking this and going to a lot of different outdoor events. Like this past weekend, I did the Sunflower Festival. And like you mentioned, the Awakening is where we kind of crossed paths.
Yeah.
And in doing these, people see me doing crystal facials and you're covered with crystals.
Yeah, that got me.
It's just a sheet of crystals. And then I can also do the, different types of crystal healing, working with the chakras, balancing those. When I work with chakras, I balance the chakras, I align the chakras, and I make sure they're communicating properly. So I do three layers, if you want to call it that, to working with the chakras. I am very intuitively led.
Yeah.
Spirit leads me a lot as well.
Yeah.
I'll just get this, hey, help them.
That little,
get hold of that person.
Nudge.
A lot of it is just, talking to people and not being afraid to just reach out there and speak to every person and making everyone feel like they're seen, like they're heard. Mm-hmm. We're so used to being ignored through a lot of things that I want to make sure that, when you walk by my booth, I'm trying to reach out to you. I'm trying to extend this energy to you. But I do a lot of protection in my booth to make sure that I'm not taking in other people's energies, that I'm not, feeling that. I'm empathic as well, but I choose to do protection work on myself to keep myself from reading everyone.
Yeah, I made the mistake of not
doing it. It's overwhelming.
If you do that. Overwhelming.
If you allow yourself to be exposed all the time, it's just too much. But so I protect myself through that, and then I make sure everything in my booth is. I go through and I cleanse my booth. I do a gratitude ceremony. I do a ceremony to protect it and make sure that, when you come in there, people will tell me all the time,
it feels different in here.
Yes. Why does your booth feel different from everyone else's?
Yeah.
And it's just, I put a lot of love into making sure this booth feels like it's all about healing.
Yeah.
I want you to walk away feeling better than when you came in, like I said, And when you do a crystal facial, some of them might even have a chest piece that goes over the chest, and even soothing the chest, which is for things like dealing with emotions, heart issues. It's great for that. It's very calming. It can be a very emotional session as well because you're releasing a lot of unhealthy energy. and you leave feeling like a gym.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true. What's your favorite crystal to work with? Do you have a favorite pal?
What's my favorite crystal to work with? I have so many that I enjoy. Probably Rainbow Moonstone.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just most drawn to it.
Yeah. I'm a big amethyst fan. Amethyst and I are pretty tight. Malachite. I'm a big malachite fan too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I really look forward to our next session. I am so open to different modalities and different energy work, and it's just so interesting to me because everybody's different, you know?
Yeah. Well, sitting here thinking about Brazilian toe technique that we had said we're doing next time. It also helps to mitigate the effects of chemotherapy and radiation.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very, very beneficial session. It balances our polarities, it balances the meridians, it balances our chakras. It does a lot in the body.
As a Libra, I love all that balancing
all at once,
talk.
You know, all at once, it's doing all of this different work for us.
Yeah.
And it not only helps us, you know, physically, but mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm excited. Again.
And at some point, I'll have to share with you our spinal flesh because it became the most popular one at pretty much all of my events that I do. That it became self-labeled by the public, the amazing spinal flesh.
So what, is that like a drink or something? What do you do? What is this?
No, the spinal flesh, it's another energy medicine technique that I do on the body.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm moving up and down the sides of the spine and clearing the lymphatic system. So it'll have a physical response where pain in the neck or throughout the back starts to, for most people, they start seeing it alleviating. And then the mental emotional is affected as well because you're clearing toxins. So some people go through like an emotional release afterwards and they're getting rid of the emotions that they've been storing and holding on to. We suppress so much. You know, if someone passes in our life, we may not feel like, I don't want to deal with this right now. And we just shove that down. Over time, the body wants to get this out, and it's going to find a way. And if we don't do self-care, if we don't find a way to tend to it, it's going to find its way out somehow. And it may not be a way
pretty.
that's...
It's not very pretty.
No. No.
From experience.
It can cause anxiety, it can cause health issues, it can cause organ problems. I mean, there's so many things it can do for us if we don't address these emotions. And, you know, I was brought up
to suppress.
Button it up.
Yep.
Stop your crying. And I'm like, why? I don't understand. And I would ask that. I was a why kid. Why? Why do I have to stop crying? And come to find out, that was more about what that person had dealt with than me. And it was because they didn't know how to address their issues, so it was easier for them to teach on. Don't address this. Just shove it down and let's move on.
Have you had...
And I had to learn that.
Having that deprogramming in your life, basically, how have you navigated that from, you know, the programs that we received in childhood from parents, society, school, what have you? What was your... I know it's not easy, trust me, I'm going through it. But like, what kind of led you to start like questioning, like, hey, maybe this ain't it?
Pretty much like when I started doing Reiki, I started seeing the world differently. I started, like I said, I actually became close with my higher power. I didn't have that relationship before. I knew of existence, but didn't really put anything into it. And now, you know, I realize that I'm a part of something. And in doing that, I also started realizing so many other things. You know, I caught myself one time, this is just an example, but I caught myself one time at a store and I wanted to buy this beautiful white coat. And that thought came to my head, you're not going to be able to keep that clean. Just put it back. And I went, whose programming is that?
Yeah.
I don't think that. Why do I think I'm an adult? Why can't I keep white clean? What is wrong with me that I can't keep white clean? I should be able to keep white clean. And as I realized that, I said, I'm buying this. And I look at the label and it says, machine washable. Go figure. I said, yes. Even better.
Yeah.
And I still have it to this day. And
it's still white.
It's off white now. But I don't care.
Hey, who cares?
You know, it doesn't look like it was meant to be pure white in the beginning, so hey, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, I was brought up having, you know, hand-me-down clothes, and it was nice clothes, dress clothes, play clothes. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, were you brought up that way too?
Absolutely, 100%.
And if you got home and start to run into the yard and go start playing, go get in your play clothes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you grow up in life and you have that programming. Okay, I have these clothes that are more for, you know, this and this, and then these are my nice clothes. We don't have to live that way, but we're so used to those programming in our head that that's what we go with.
Yeah.
So it took time. You know, it took a lot of time to start telling myself, is that the way I think, or is that the way someone taught me to think?
Yeah. And having that discernment between the two is interesting as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and you do have to question yourself. Whose is this?
Who's this
is
for?
This my thinking?
Yeah. Who is this for? Well, who am I? You know?
Yeah.
And then that starts to spiral. Oh, but that's awesome. I would love to take your Reiki class. So it's just Reiki 1 and then you'll do like Reiki 2. Mm-hmm. It goes up to 4. Am I right?
I have it split into 4.
Okay.
They've recently split it into 4 at some places they teach.
Okay.
A lot of people still do it at 3 levels. I find level 3, I like to split it in 2 because not everyone wants to teach. And, you know, I don't know about other people, but I don't like more information shoved in my head that I don't need.
Yeah.
So if I don't need that and I'm not looking to do that, now I got to sit through a half a day of learning how to teach it.
Yeah.
How does that benefit me? Now I'm bored in class.
Right.
And then then you lose, you get that deer in the headlights look, and then you're lost, and then you get back to it and you go, was I supposed to do this like on people, or is this something I'm doing when I'm teaching, or what is this for?
Right.
Yeah. So I split it into 4 levels.
That's awesome.
And then if somebody wants to teach, they can come back. So they can get their master's and level 3, but if they want to be a master teacher, then they can do a level 4.
Yeah, I would love to learn. I love to learn,
Yeah.
And I am just so interested in the different energy healing modalities because I grew up as a Christian, and coming out of that like little bubble and realizing like, oh, well, Jesus was a healer, and we all have that innate ability within us. We're all energy. We can move energy. We can play with energy. And I find it so fascinating. I just love it. It's very cool. And like I told you earlier, I haven't, been certified. It's always been by the book, very traditional life I've led. So this is all new to me, and I wanted to bring everybody along with me.
I love when it's new to somebody because it's exciting for them it's working with a blank slate, and they haven't been tainted by other ways of thinking, and you just get to share this with them pure.
Yeah. But it's been really awesome. I can't wait to our session next week, and hopefully I'll get in this class with you.
Well, the Reiki 1 is about learning how to do self-care. Reiki 2 moves into learning how to work with others and do distant healing.
Okay.
And then 3 is about the master level. So you're learning a lot more there.
Yeah.
And everything becomes bigger and greater and more.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the teaching. So you learn how to teach all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome.
And there's attunements involved in each one. The attunement is just, we're putting that energy into you so that you can now work with it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can contact Loretta on Facebook. I'll put all the information in the description, and yeah, she's located in Chillicothe and New Boston, Ohio. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're so welcome.
Yeah.
I also do distant sessions, so if you, for some reason, you can't get out of your home, or, you know, I've worked with people that are bedridden, and I've worked with people, I even had a lady in the UK that reached out to me, and I worked with her. I have people back in Kansas and Missouri, and then some other states that they reach out to me, and I do, you know, a lot of different types of distant work.
Yes, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're not in Ohio,
not
then
at all.
I just wanted to do an in-session.
And I do, it's led me also into working with lost and found animals too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I have occasionally people reach out and, do you do anything with it?
Be like, where's
can you
my
help me?
cat?
You know, I've helped, you know, one lady, her parrot got out.
Her parrot got out.
One of those big macaws flew out of the house, and it was gone for about 4 days, and it was during horrendous storms. I mean, talking like the trees are just blowing like sideways.
Wow.
And it had to survive that.
Oh my.
And I told her, I said, I just did some different type of energy testing and so forth, and I told her exactly where to go look, and she said, oh my gosh, it's right there. He's just right there waiting for me.
You found him then.
She found him, yeah.
That's beautiful.
She just followed exactly where I said. And then about a year later, her dog got out. Same person, her dog got out, and she calls me, can you help me find my dog now? Yep. So we found the dog as well.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Even had somebody back in Missouri who contacted me due to a friend back there who said, I think my friend does something with this. I know she does Reiki for animals, but I think she does some kind of animal communication. Mm-hmm. Let me get a hold of her for you and see what happens. And then, yeah, she reached out to me, and we helped them. They had just moved to a farm, and this animal had gotten out, and it was a dog that had some health issues, and they were afraid it was going to have a seizure while it was out. Aww. So they were trying to catch it as quick as possible to get it on its medication. Yeah. And yeah, we got it found. It was at a farmer's place.
Well, next time Buster starts acting up.
Well, it was a beagle, you know, and they love to go explore, and they love to root through everything and sniff everything and hunt around, and so he was out just being a beagle.
His best life.
Just being a beagle.
Oh, that's amazing. That's beautiful. I love it. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for us.
All right.
So I can give you a little time before your next session.
Thank you.
I'm getting
Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Just thank you. I am so grateful to be a part of all of this that I do, and I'm grateful that you asked me to share my work, and I hope if any of you would like to try something, please get in touch with me. I would love to be able to help you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.